Tony, in your advocacy role, what are some of the common questions that your clients have asked about the National Disability Insurance Scheme, and what information can you give us about how the scheme actually works?
One question we get a lot is for those who are currently over the age of 65, who are receiving disability supports now through the state-based program, such as Community Support Program in New South Wales, but also similar schemes in other states. What's going to happen when the NDIS comes in, and how that is going to affect their supports, because as we all know, those aged over the age of 65 won't be eligible. The good news is it's called continuity of support, and it covers their current supports. It's in the bilateral agreements with New South Wales and Victoria. It's called continuity of support, Schedule D, and it says that there will be no disadvantage and their current supports will be maintained. However, what will change is it'll be at an administration level, so it'll move from a state responsibility across to the federal responsibility.
So what's going to happen in this scheme about the mobility allowance? Is that going to still operate?
Yeah, for those that are eligible for the NDIS, once they get a plan approved, they will no longer receive their mobility allowance through the Department of Social Services, but it will be incorporated in part of their NDIS funding. And there are 3 levels of support funding for transport. The top level roughly is around the same, or is exactly the same pricing of the mobility allowance. They're also, for exceptional circumstances, there is a higher amount, up to around $6,000, but that again depends on what it is that you're doing, employment or community social aspects in your life.
So, Chris, you had some home modifications done. Can you tell us a little bit about what was actually done to your home and how the funding worked out on that?
Yes.
And who assisted?
Yes, well, the NDIS approved for some automatic doors that I had installed for my front door, my garage entrance door, which made it very helpful for me.
How does that work? Can you just explain to us how that works?
Yeah, well, I actually have an app on my phone which is directly connected to the Wi-Fi system in my house. And all I do is open the app, and it's pretty straightforward. There's just a button for the door to open. As long as I'm in the Wi-Fi range, it'll work.
So what about temperature control or window curtains, etc.?
Well, I'm quite capable of doing all that myself. But I also have my air conditioner is connected to the same type of app, which is basically my house can be controlled through my phone. So for instances like if I forget to leave a light on while I've already gotten into bed, I can simply just open my phone up and turn the lights off.
Any other modifications you had done?
So yes, I also had some flooring installed in my gym, which is it's like a soft rubber flooring just to help with whenever I transfer. Also, if I fall, it's not going to hurt.
Any other modifications?
I had some bathroom modifications done. I got a specially made commode for my toilet, which is really helpful because I don't have a very big bathroom, and a few shower chairs and some rails.
Now, I understand that that if you've already paid for some modification or some particular need that you have, that there's an issue about that. Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, that's right. I found out that some of the equipment or modifications that you may have already paid for, considerably expensive items, the NDIS won't reimburse you for, such things like a wheelchair or a hand cycle or anything expensive.
So what you're saying is you need approval first, and then
That's right. Yeah.
So what about the mobility allowance? Will that continue?
Yeah, I forgot to mention before about those that are on mobility allowance, and if they then become a participant in the scheme, it won't affect their healthcare card at all. They will still receive their healthcare card and all the benefits that it brings. So yeah, that is unchanged and unaffected.
So what about levels of support? There are particular kinds of levels of support that...
You mean with transport specifically? Or?
Not specifically with transport, but what about access to work and study and community? How will the scheme help people access that in a more effective way?
Yeah, it's in the plan. It'll be written in the plan, the types of things that it'll be based on their goals and aspirations. And so if they work, it'll be assistance to get up in the morning. It'll also be flexible based on the types of lifestyle the person will have. And again, as well, for vocational supports, things like education. It won't actually cover things that the education system covers. However, it would cover things like if you've got a disability and you are studying and you need some personal care support, it would assist with that in the potentially, yeah. So
what's the process of the scheme being rolled out? How do you see that happening, and how it will affect individuals?
For those that are currently receiving state-based supports, it'll be done in stages depending on your geographical location, and it'll be a fairly smooth transition. When your area is time to actually transition across to the full scheme, you'll get contacted by the NDIA, the agency, and if you've already got a plan in place, they'll look at it, and if it offers a similar sort of supports or is compatible with the NDIS, very little will change, unless, of course, you want things to change and you want a review of your supports. What is potentially a benefit is you may be entitled to extra things that you weren't entitled to under the state-based program, like we mentioned earlier about vehicle modifications for those in New South Wales.
I'd like to thank Chris and Tony for their experiences, both from a policy and practical perspective. Chris for his personal experience of dealing with the NDIA the scheme itself in Western Australia, in Perth, at the trial site, and the kinds of supports that the scheme can give him in making his life much more independent and active, and really achieving full participation and equality in the community. I'd like to thank Tony in particular for the kinds of policy insights and advocacy insights he's given us into how the scheme actually operates, and the kinds of eligibility criteria and restrictions, as well as the way the scheme will be rolled out. So I'd just like to mention in conclusion that next year in April, SCIA will be holding an expo. And if you want to get more information about the expo, please go to our website, www.scia.org.au. We hope to see you next year in April 2016. Thank you for joining us.